Fitness with Gerry video 17. We're going to review various things that you can do with yoga blocks, with a foam roller, and also a massage peanut, it's called, because it looks kind of like a peanut. The foam roller, number one, what you can do is you can kneel on it just as I am doing now. Comfortable position. It becomes even more comfortable if you put a cushion between your butt and the roller. But a lot of people use this position for a meditation. Also great to take a break away from the chair or the comfy sofa to have your spine straight, even as you sit and watch TV. Now what I have here is a small version of the regular size foam roller because I'm traveling, and even though it's very light, it doesn't add much weight to the overall weight of the suitcase. It's big and the full size one wouldn't fit in my suitcase. So I have this one that I use for most things. But I also have a PVC tube that I'll use for other things. Difference is the PVC tube is hard plastic. So I'll put a little layer of material just to give my bones and muscles a bit of cushion. So let's get started. Now this is an investment of time, first of all, as you spend your time doing these positions, and it's also an investment of money. Depending on where you are, the prices will be different, but it's definitely a worthwhile investment if you're going to use it. Maybe you have a membership at a fitness club or a studio and they will have these there. But it's also really nice to have them at home doing this kind of stuff, these positions, in the comfort of your home. Especially if you have a fireplace, really nice to stretch beside a fireplace. So the first one I'll show you is just with the two yoga blocks. I have two different ones. This one is a cheaper version from a large department store. This one's much better. The foam is denser, and if I need to put significant weight, I will choose this one, and then this one will have the less weight. So my back is going to take more weight than my head. So I position it somewhere about halfway up my back. And this one, I bring it to underneath my head. And here is a really good position. Just checking to see if I'm still in the camera. I think so, yeah. And you could spend a long time here. It's really comfortable. Another great opportunity to give yourself abdominal massage up the middle line and even underneath the ribs and on the outside, massaging the organs and just getting extra blood flow. Even this kind of percussion drumming helps to move things around, keep things vibrant. So here, position number one, really good, spend lots of time. Another possibility is putting the yoga block a little bit lower, so now you get a bit more opening up in the throat. Another possibility is without the yoga block, and you can lift and rotate your head and bring the head down. Can you see me? Always lifting the head up with the hands and not using the muscles and the bones that you've just stretched. You can also have the yoga block at its highest position, and this might be the most comfortable for many people. But another position of the block I like to do many times is putting it this way, and that way I can feel the bone, the base of my skull, that's being a little bit massaged and opened by the yoga block. And sometimes with my hands, I'll interlace the fingers. And a bit more intense is if I rotate the hands this way and put them underneath my chin. Now I'm going through these fairly quickly, but for you, please take your time. These are so beneficial. You can also rotate the head, let the head fall down. Now I'm getting the outside underneath my ear and jaw joint. And similar with the hands. Always lifting the head to move and rotate. Okay, and then when I come up, I will lift my head as far as it's comfortable, and then my hands go beside my hips, and I continue to lift myself up. And a balance you could do would be some kind of forward bend depending on your level of flexibility. Just because with that position lying back, it's a back bend, and now this way I'm getting a forward bend. So just to repeat, take your time with this. I'm going through it as quickly as I can just to minimize the length of the video. So with the foam roller, you can now add a little bit extra back extension and do basically the same thing. So again, another position you can spend an extended amount of time, 10-15 minutes or longer. And let's review positions of the arms. So I can be by my side with the arms, or I can be up here, getting a nice stretch in the chest and the shoulders, and I'm also feeling it on the outside back muscles. And you can put your hands underneath your neck, the back of your neck. I can't interlace my fingers because there's not enough space between the block and my neck. So I just put my fingers like this, and my elbows touch the ground. But many people I teach this to, their elbows cannot touch the ground. So I would advise to put something on the ground to raise it, like a pillow or a folded up towel or a book, just so that the arms get to have support, and that way the muscles you're trying to stretch can relax. If they are hovering above the ground, the muscles you're trying to stretch are active. They are tense because they're holding up your arms. So I think much better to have support, and eventually your elbows might reach the ground. Another position for the arms is I have my hands like this, fingers pointing down and pushing against the yoga block. Nice stretch for the fingers and the hands, as well as the arms and chest and upper outside back muscles. And also sometimes above your head, you can have your fingers interlaced, or you can do kind of a reverse, rotating one wrist, and you want to balance out with the other wrist. You can also bind the arms, putting a loop belt or something just on this side of the elbow versus this side. So both sides of the elbow, you would put them in a binded position. And here it's really good opening up for the upper body. And if your legs are also bound, It's a very relaxing position, and it does a lot of opening. Trying to stay with the breathing. If you're here for 5 or 10 minutes every day, every other day, you'll notice a big difference on the flexibility and strength of your spine. Another position I like with the arms is like this. So one hand is on the inside of the elbow, the other hand is on the outside of the other elbow, and just taking time here, a minute, 2 minutes, and then you want to balance the position of the hands just to keep everything balanced. And the final position, I start with my hands up here, I bend at the elbows, and then hinge at the shoulder, and I walk my fingers as low as they'll go on that middle yoga block. And now another good stretch for the triceps, elbow, shoulder, upper body. So that's the various for the arms, and you can play around with different other ones. For the legs, my legs have been straight so far, but you can also put them with knees bent, feet flat on the ground. If it's comfortable enough for you, you can cross the legs and spend time here. And with this foam roller, I can also bring it under my hips. Really nice position, especially if my legs are bound, because then these side leg muscles also get to rest and relax. And here another good opportunity to massage the abdomen. Spending time here as much as you want. And then you can also put the foam roller underneath your knees. A restorative position, really good for your body and your mind, especially if you're staying focused on your breathing. So I'll alternate a few minutes each time, sometimes longer, depending on what I'm doing, what I want to do. And the final position for the legs, I can't do it with the foam roller because it's in the way, but I take my left hand and grab my left ankle, and I bring my foot beside my hip, and my knee touches the ground. And I'll usually also do both legs. I'll bring the other leg back in the same position as this. So you can try that, but many people won't be able to bring both legs back at the same time. So I want to show you with one leg. And I'll put my right hand, this will go under my hip, this will go alongside my leg. And what it's doing is it's supporting that stretched out leg so that it's not going to fall outwards, and the muscles get a bit of support, the outside leg muscles. If you're doing it with both legs back, you can experiment with bringing the knees together or having the knees out wide. I'm going to balance with this one just to show you what I was talking about with the hand position. So my hand is going to be like this. My thumb is underneath the hip, and my fingers are running parallel with my leg, and it just gives a bit of support for that outstretched leg. Okay, so really good positions. Take your time, enjoy. Lifting up the head first, hands beside me, and then I lift up into a regular cross-legged sitting position. So what I want to show you also, before we get to the full length foam roller, is what you can do with the massage peanut and a foam roller. If you have the full length foam roller, you won't need this at the top. I am using these two instead of that one because that has a hard edge and it's more comfortable with the foam roller. So this is very advanced, and it could be intense, especially if this is your first time doing it, and also if you have a lot of tension along your spine. So be careful, be gentle. So the first place I usually start is at the base of my spine. I'll put, if you can see, I'll put the peanut, the massage peanut, in the middle as best as I can, and then I'll come down, and depending on the situation of my spine, I will usually get an adjustment and making sure everything is relaxed. This is also massaging the muscles that run on the outside of your spine. And I'll just stay here. I can feel a fair bit of tension on the right side, a little bit higher up, one vertebrae up, I think. So be gentle. If this is too much, you might want to use a folded up towel or something underneath your hips in case that was too severe, too intense of a back bend. And having raised my hips, now I no longer feel that block, but it's still there. I'll get it at some point. And then lifting the head, raising up the torso. I will usually go into a forward bend just to release and relax a little bit. And then I'll move the massage peanut up a few centimeters. And if you want to take your time, you can go one vertebrae at a time. You will very likely discover some stuff that you did not know about your spine. So I'm going to go up about 2 vertebrae, see if I can get the adjustment that I felt. No, it's not adjusting, but now I feel the left side. So you can rock back and forth, but don't rock back and forth too much, because you could do some damage to those floating ribs, which are right here. So keep that massage peanut in the middle while you're at this lower part of the ribs, especially, because these floaters are a bit vulnerable in this position. And I'll stay here for a couple of minutes, depending. Coming back up. And again, I would do a forward bend, taking at least 30 seconds in that forward bend. Move the massage peanut up a little bit, and I'll just repeat this process. Just got an adjustment in the neck. Play around with your neck, back and forth, maybe rotating your head. If I bring my elbows together, I tighten the muscles between my shoulder blades, and they get more of a massage. And then I'll repeat the process all the way up. If there is stress in my vertebrae, it'll get a massage, and many times there'll be the necessary adjustment to move the vertebrae back to a proper alignment. So really good, and the massage peanut's also good for many other things. You can even do the massage peanut without this. It'll be less intense. So maybe that's where you want to start your exploration. And also good at the base of the spine while lying on the ground. Let me just show you real quick. So I would put it here at the very base of my spine, and just it's like a massage. The weight of my body with gravity going into the massage peanut is massaging whatever's in contact with the massage peanut. And I can also go on the side, the glute butt muscles, and massage the outside of the butt, which gets a lot of stress from exercise, from walking, from sitting. And you can also play a little bit lower on the leg muscle. Up to you to explore and experiment. So, just making sure I'm not squishing that microphone piece. So with this one, a few other ones I can show you. I will use this piece of cloth to give my bones a bit of cushion. And I won't need this. Move it out of the way. So this would be your foam roller lying back. So this could be position 1 for the full length foam roller. This is already doing a lot of good repair, bringing my chest back, shoulders back, because a lot of times we spend shoulders rounded forward, chest closed. So here I am reversing that position that many of us are in during the day. And you could spend a long time here. Similar as we had before, I can put my hands underneath my neck. Same with the hand positions that we reviewed earlier. Exact same. And now with the neck, what I can do is I am holding my head in my hand and I am guiding my head to one side of the foam roller. And if your head can't touch the ground, put a book or a cushion or a towel so that your head reaches the ground and you can have full release on the muscles. So here is the position. I'm also feeling a stretch in the top part of the back of my right shoulder. And with the hand, I can also put it against the foam roller, giving a slight gentle push. Adjusting my head if I need to. I got another adjustment along the ear, jaw line. And please remember, always lift up your head with your hand. Really important that you don't stress those muscles that you were just able to relax. And then I would balance out on the other side. As I've said a few times, please take your time with this. Really beneficial. And lift the head up with the hand. We can also do as we had previously, grabbing the ankle with the hand and bringing the foot back. Nice stretch on the hip flexor. I can feel it a little bit up here on the thigh and the knee. I can do both legs. Maybe you can't. Maybe it's something you have to try in 2 or 3 weeks after doing this 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. And I will push my knees into the ground. My back arches a little bit. I try and bring my hips a bit flatter. And I can bring my knees together, hold that for a while, and then I can also bring my knees a little bit wider. Repeating for you, maybe you need to start out with only one leg. Okay, so now a little bit of compression happened in my lower back. So I'm going to lift my legs over my head and bring my feet to the ground. This one is advanced. If you're new to this, I suggest you try this on the flat ground first for a few weeks or until you feel confident to try this. And the arms are essential for maintaining your balance. And I don't know how to do this politically correct. My butt's going to be in the air. You're going to see my butt in the air. So lifting up, legs are up, and then controlled, I bring my legs above my head, relax my head. It's got to slide upwards a little bit. My knees are to my forehead, and my feet touch the ground. Once I'm stable, I can then move my hands to other positions. And I'll hold this position for about a minute. Really good opening up in the back of the neck and between the shoulder blades. And to come down, I bring my arms down first and then controlled. Or sometimes I let myself come down a little bit loose, and what happens is I go back and forth on the foam roller and I get to massage the muscles that run alongside the spine. It's important that your feet touch the ground because otherwise there's too much weight on your upper body. So if you want to try this but you don't have the flexibility in your spine, you need to raise the ground that's up here by putting a stool or just stack of wood or some kind of wooden chest, something that your feet can be supported so that you're not putting too much weight on the upper body. And the next one, let me see where my wire is. So now we're going to go diagonal. So I am going to bring my hips over to the right side of the foam roller, flat on the ground, legs go straight. And then I lift my head and my shoulders and I bring them to the other side of the roller. And then my head reaches the ground and I'll put my arms above my head. And I'll also usually cross one leg over just so that I have support for that left outside leg. Unusual position because I am going diagonal, but a really nice opening up of the chest, ribs, abdomen, and shoulders, and also the throat. Important, as we've mentioned, lift the head up with the hands, bring the legs back so that you're in the first position. And then you would balance out on the other side, which I can't do because the wall is here. So let me give a different angle for the camera so that you can see. So here we were. So I will first move my legs, hips on the ground, then I lift my head, bring my shoulders to the opposite side, guide my head to the ground, and then my arms are usually above my head. I cross the leg over. And I get a nice opening up. lifting my head to bring myself back. I usually move the head first because it's the most vulnerable. The legs are fairly stable. Adjusting my neck. And then if you want, you can spend a bit more time here in that first position. So, really good things for you to try. My recommendation would be at least 2 or 3 times a week. I do something similar. I don't know if I can say every day, but I can say most days. I do have issues in my vertebrae, and this kind of position and other positions I do release the stress that builds up. And as I've mentioned before, you're only as young as your spine is flexible. So really important to spend enough time on the spine so that you can discover where your blocks are, and over time you'll figure out how to fix them. Sometimes I can't figure out how to fix it, and then that's when I go for professional help by way of a chiropractor. But that's rare. I can usually figure things out. It's a great learning opportunity for me to figure out how to fix things because I'm not always going to have professional help. For example, here I don't have it. When I'm at home, I have a great chiropractor. He's about a 15-minute walk from where I was living. And I went to see him after maybe 2 or 3 months of not being able to fix a problem. But usually you can fix the problems. As always, please be gentle and stay in tune with the gentle rhythmic breathing pattern. One of the benefits of any kind of stretching session is the relaxation aspect, which happens when you're connected with the breathing. You can put gentle music in your ear. As I mentioned at the beginning, a nice fireplace helps with the relaxation. So enjoy, explore, experiment, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.